All right, we are back again, this time for real. We have a great match coming up, and I see you guys are also sticking with us, which is great. So we are, without any further ado, always going to get the players on stage. So please give a big round of applause for Penny for your thoughts. And those guys will be going up against the 3 Amigos. So both of you have been playing already during the regionals against each other, and it didn't go too well for you guys. You actually lost. What do you think is going to make the difference this time around?
We're just going to play better. Well, I don't think we played as good at regionals as we could have. We're just going to play our best and take home the win.
Well, that's the best one can do. So you guys already played against them and already won against them. Do you think you can repeat that?
Absolutely.
Just that. All right. Let's keep it simple and short. Those are great answers. And I don't want to hold you off for much longer, so I'll let you get back. Thanks a lot for joining me here, and I can't wait to meet one of you guys again here on stage after the match is done. So for now, we're going to head over to our casters.
Thanks, Zoe. Welcome back, guys. We are ready for the next match. This is going to be a huge one. Only one semifinal spot available. We already have 2 European teams awaiting in the semifinals.
Yep.
Now 2 North American teams going to do battle for 1 spot. So we know it's going to be 2 Europeans, 1 North American, then 1 more additional spot up for grabs. So, you know, a lot on the line here for these teams. And, you know, that's going to mean we've already had 1 North American team knocked out. So only 1 is going to be remaining in the tournament after this.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a rivalry match as well. These guys have been playing against each other for years at this point. So it's going to be, obviously they both really want to win because, you know, there's a lot of money on the line. There's the prestige. There's the whole, you know, BlizzCon thing going on. Yeah. But also it's sort of like they need to be able to show their, almost like show their dominance over the other team at this point.
It's true. I mean, especially with a team that has faced off against each other so many times. I know these guys, you know, when you look online and you watch what kind of teams are queuing and stuff, we see a lot of cross-team queuing earlier on in the season. But then when it gets towards the end and you're starting to practice for things like this, it's serious.
Yeah, I mean, practice partners can become a real concern with some of these teams because so many of the top teams have these rivalries and stuff, and people be friendly enough, you know, during everyday games and stuff, and they'll mix and match teams, play together. But as you said, when it comes down to, you know, the really serious games, it's one of those things where all of a sudden sometimes no one wants to show up to play you guys anymore. Teams will leave games on ladder sometimes, even things like that, to avoid giving each other practice, and you know, it's one of those things that you can actually be a big advantage.
It really can, especially where these teams are putting in so many hours of practice. And we talk about how the teams always hide their secrets. You know, they keep their strategies. Maybe in the practice they'll throw games. You know, they'll do strats that they would never do, like train the healer when they know that it's basically impossible. Yeah. You know, just to kind of throw the other team off. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you always want to try your best in the war games to get the most out of the practice, but you don't always want to use the right strategy. But here now on your screen we have Penny for your thought. It's gonna be their first game on the BlizzCon stage. Let's get a hand of applause for Thugonomics. He's gonna be playing the Warlock Sharpstorm on the Monk, and it's gonna be Novos playing the Elemental Shaman.
Yeah, and like we said, these guys have been playing for ages. Last year they were here at BlizzCon. Well, Thugonomics and Novos were, they were playing with a different Monk last year, but now Sharpstorm is here. He's been healing for ages. He obviously was very well known on his Shaman, now playing the Mistweaver, and just they've been playing fantastically so far. But they have a very tough battle ahead of them here. Obviously they did well against them in the past, but this is the 3 Amigos. They've been playing incredibly well. We saw them play earlier, that 3-1 victory. That's going to be Snuts on the Warlock, that's going to be Sea-Doo on the Shaman, and Venruki on the Mage.
Yeah, and the big question to me is, you know, after for lack of a word, the beating that they got at regionals, you know, do they actually dare to play the same comp into them? You know, Novos can play a mage, Thugonomics can play Destro, you know, at the highest level. We've seen Sharpstorm bust out the Shaman. Didn't work out so well for him against Skill Cap TU, but do we see them actually mix it up? Do we see them play MLS? You know, do they dare go for that mirror? You know, do we see them play the double Shaman comp even?
I would love to see the MLS mirror out of them. I mean, it's a toss-up. You really got to depend on your healer to know what they're doing. Yeah. They had some rough times with that double Shaman. Some of the matches were so fast that I walked out of the room in that studio just for a second and came back and they were packing up, and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, I mean, all 3 of their losses actually in the double shaman game, there was some serious misusage of cooldowns. You know, it basically just got killed in the first 10, 15 seconds of 3 of the games. One of them did go to dampening on Blade's Edge, and they did win that game. But we'll see if they're going to come out with anything different, or if they're just going to be confident to go in with the same comp and play better. You know, Nova's talking, had a lot of confidence in that pregame, and it looks like they are going to be sticking with the same comp. So, you know, not just empty words. Definitely feels like they just need to play better, and they can win this series.
Yeah, they sounded really confident going in. You know, these teams have so much practice against each other at this point that they know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. This match is starting up right now. Penny for Your Thought versus 3 Amigos will be getting underway here very, very shortly. This first match in what is sure to be an awesome series. I cannot wait for this match. This is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Of course, Penny for Your Thoughts is going to be on your left with 3 Amigos on your right. And just out of the gates from the Grand Arena, there's going to be so much counter CC, so much layered CC on both ends. Watch for the lava burst from Novos. You know, that has a very distinct sound, so listen for that when he's starting to put the pressure on.
It's definitely something you got to watch out for. Novos, pushing forward. Both Warlocks going to be able to get those gateways down. We'll see who's going to be the ones to get aggressive first. You know, Sharpstorm's really going to have to play well. He's going to have to try to avoid that CC as much as humanly possible if they want to have a chance in this series.
Yeah, for sure. One of the awesome things on the new UI, of course, is that you can see the number of stacks that Sharpstorm has of his Manatee. He's already up to 8 stacks, just building those as much as he possibly can. Those are going to come in extremely handy a little bit later on. There's a nice silence on a Novos with that double Howl of Terror in there. Sharpstorm is going to get broken out of that right away. He does Dispel and gets that silence on him as well. Starting to put on the pressure, though. Venruki taking a little bit of damage. Snuts taking a little bit as well. There's the Hex on a Sea-Doo, will get removed. And just trying to do as much as they can. Just sort of poking at the moment, but looking for a good opportunity to move in for a kill.
Yep, definitely going to be looking for that. We see Nova's pushing forward. The ramp piece was used there onto Thugonomics, I do believe, and as he was running forward, Thugonomics going to be re-sheeped up now. You know, Snut's taking a little bit of damage, going to get feared up as he does pop the Demon Soul. Sea-Doo did dispel off the dots, but a little bit too early to catch that fear as well. And we can see, you know, Snut's being pressured relatively hard. Sea-Doo taking a fair bit of damage himself, down to about half HP there. Venruki and Snuts both caught in a howl by Thugonomics. Nicely played by them. And Penny for Your Thought, you know, out to an early start, getting a lot of pressure going.
Yeah, Sea-Doo already slipping behind health-wise as we see the dots are going to be coming out from Snuts right now. Venruki taking a little damage too. Thugonomics is so confident that he's just posting up in the center of the arena and just casting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he's probably okay for that right now. Like, he is going to take a bunch of damage in the process, but I feel like their kill target is going to be Novos. He's just a little bit squishier, a little bit easier to kill. So Novos, as you can see here, is just hiding behind this pillar, trying to be as careful as he possibly can, while Thugonomics is free to sort of run around in the middle, doing as much damage as he possibly can, just trying to keep those dots rolling as much as possible.
Yeah, there's a Shadow Fury going to connect on Sharpstorm. He's going to get feared up. They see that the Life Cocoon comes out immediately in that Shadow Fury, knowing the damage will be crashing in on Novos, and Novos going to try to hold his cooldowns. As a result, going to be able to do it nicely coordinated there by Sharpstorm and Novos, not overlapping anything. Venruki being pushed back here a little bit as well, down to half HP. Shadow Fury connects on 2, Hex onto Sea-Doo. This could be the first block. No, Sea-Doo going to dispel that off, and the Shaman Rage did actually have to come out there from Novos. Nature's Guardian procking as well. They're trying to kill off the water rally. Should be able to do it. It does fall, but 3 Amigos get out of that, you know, very low, but not having to blow the cooldowns.
Yeah, and their cooldown, excuse me, their trinkets are now coming off the cooldown as well. 3 Amigos having all 3 trinkets available to match up with Penny for Your Thoughts 3 trinkets. So we're going to have to see how this continues to go from here. Sharpstorm getting a little bit of a drink in there of his Manatee, just trying to keep his mana going as much as possible, but he does like to stack those up. Oh, Novo's taking a whole bunch of damage, dipping pretty low there for a second. Does look like he's going to be okay, but that was a scary moment. And now 3 Amigos at super low health as well. Venruki dipping really, really low. He does have to block, actually, trying to get that polymorph out. Don't know that he was actually able to land that. Sea-Doo now dipping low. Snuts in the silence, gonna have to try and they're gonna have to try and stabilize here. 3 Amigos is starting to fall behind. Sea-Doo is more than capable. He actually pops that sentence there to try and top everybody off, and that should help him.
And Noah's actually in a lot of trouble here. He doesn't have the Shaman Rage available for 10 seconds. He's gonna be taking so much damage there. Their fear comes in onto Sharpstorm. He's sitting through that. Novos feels he can survive for now. The will gonna be used by Sharpstorm though. Venruki's still dangerously low. Sea-Doo did take the the CS a little bit ago, so he is going to be able to have a bit more time to cast. Shaman Rage now available once again for Novos, and they are just really pumping out the pressure. All the credit has to go to Novos and Thugonomics, really just putting out so much damage in this match so far, looking like a much stronger team than what we saw at the regional tournament.
Yeah, they really are. It's a night and day difference for most of these matches that we've seen from them so far this whole tournament. Sea-Doo down to half right now, trying to top himself back up with those efficient healing waves, as both Venruki and Snuts sitting at about 75%, as Sea-Doo is just chain dispelling those UAs.
Yeah, and we've seen every single match that Sea-Doo ever plays in. He's very comfortable with his players being at kind of low health, especially relatively early on, because he's usually able to find some way to keep them alive if they do start taking a whole lot of damage, and actually predict that damage coming in and top them off ahead of time. So it's not as scary, I think, for three Amigos to be low like this, but it is still potentially meaning that Sea-Doo has to sort of scramble a little bit to keep them alive.
Yeah, I mean, they did get the Life Coon out there from Sharpstorm once again, preemptively doing that, seeing the Deep Freeze was going to come in. And yeah, Sea-Doo, definitely known as a greedy player, likes to hold on to those cooldowns as long as possible, but more often than not he gets away with it, and it really can pay off in these long games. His team will be sitting low, but the fact is he has the mana and he has the cooldowns to top them up when he needs to use them.
Yeah, like you can see there, sitting at half health, he's going to cast a healing wave. He's not worried. Those little orbs sitting around that you can run around and pick up. It's especially handy as dampening starts to set in.
Yeah,
it's just now started.
Onto Sharpstorm. Deep Freeze comes in on Novos. Immediate Shaman Rage is used. Haunt, full dots up. MCS onto Novos now. Sharpstorm, is the CC going to follow it up? Yes, the Fear does come in. Doesn't want to trigger this. It's going to be tremored late by Novos. We do see Spirit Grace not going to be popped. He actually did have the Nature's Guardian proccing there as well. So, a number of defenses are used, but those aren't really the big deal ones. Sharpstorm has his trinket, has his will, Novos has his trinket, and those are the important things.
Yeah, for sure. The one nice thing to note there, they are trying to stay by that pillar, which is where Sharpstorm has his Transcendence transfer available to, which will be super handy if they can get out on the silence. Ooh, that's actually dipping really low there on Sea-Doo for a second. There was a silence on Snuts as well. Sea-Doo now actually having to switch over to Healing Surge, and he's going to take that gateway to get across to the other side and try to keep Snuts alive as well.
Yeah, Novos does have the Ascendance active. He's trying to finish this team off. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it. A massive heal comes out from Sharpstorm there, topping off his teammate, allowing him to stay aggressive. But the will was used by Sharpstorm, so that's going to be the shared cooldown with the trinket. If they can get some CC out on it, so they could start to turn this around. 15 seconds now on the Shaman Rage from Novos, but then Venruki low. Sea-Doo going to Battle Master, feeling the pressure a little bit here, getting quite low himself. Snuts sitting at half, and Thugonomics has just been doing a fantastic job keeping the dodge spread. Novos doing a great job as well, keeping those flame shocks up on everyone. Snuts still sitting about 1/3 HP right now. Venruki going to get topped off. Sea-Doo pops the Unleash. Will be able to top his whole team back off now. Three Amigos start to stabilize. There's the Deep Freeze on Novos. Lots of trouble on him. That shared cooldown on the trinket's still there. The late Tremor does come in. Life Cocoon comes out as well, but Shaman Rage, Life Cocoon, both used. Sharpstorm with his trinket available now, and Venruki taking a lot of pressure. Sea-Doo needs to get dispelled out of this hex. He's not being dispelled out by Venruki just yet. Sea-Doo was caught with the UA dispel before that, but they are going to be okay. The Halotary now comes out on Venruki. He's pushed into a bad spot. If they can get anything onto him, they will probably force the block, and I think that may be the case, but he blinks right back to Sea-Doo. The Ring of Peace comes out. They're trying to get aggressive with this. Everyone's sitting very low. Sea-Doo may need to start working through some of these cooldowns here. We'll see how he's going to handle this pressure.
Oh, Snuts taking a lot of damage in the center. Does not get hit by that Shadow Fury, which hit both Sea-Doo and Venruki, as Nature's Guardian procs yet again. Haunt up on Sea-Doo. That might be their kill target right now.
Yeah, they're definitely making it very, very scary for Sea-Doo, trying to keep everybody alive. Snuts dipping low, Sea-Doo dipping low, Venruki dipping low as well, just doing everything they can, swapping that damage around constantly. Venruki actually getting very dangerously low there for a second. Does hold on to, I believe he does still have
Look at
his
Novos though, down to about 150k. Sharpstorm into the Sheep. Can they follow that up? Shaman Rage out once again. They need to be working through these cooldowns. They just seem to be having a tough time getting the follow-up CC. Thugonomics and Novos are doing a great job denying those follow-ups.
Yeah, as you see the team of Penny for Your Thoughts playing very defensive right now, choosing to switch pillars actually. Look at this. And they're waiting a really long time, which is going to give Sea-Doo time to dispel his team, to use efficient heals. They're just not putting the pressure out again.
Yeah, but we will see Shadow Fury in onto Sharpstorm. Nova's in a lot of trouble here. He may just go down. They're holding onto the cooldowns. He's down to 60k. So dangerously low there. Nature's Guardian comes out, but neither Sharpstorm nor Novos do trinket. A little bit greedy. It's going to pay off, though, as they do stay alive. We do see the diffuse coming out there from Sharpstorm. I think it may have actually been an offensive diffuse, putting the dots back on the opposing team. Sea-Doo catching another UA dispel, down to half. Snuts below half as HP as well. And the dampening really stacking up, 20% HP now. You can see this this Block Shaman Monk team is really on their A game, and we're going to see Ascendance coming out from C2. He needs that AoE healing. He's trying to top his team all the way back off, dispelling those daunts off constantly, doing a good job of it so far, but they need to get aggressive. Sharpstorm is not having to use his defensives nearly fast enough.
Yeah, and Sharpstorm also sitting with 9 stacks of Mana Tea as well, so the possibility of him going out of mana anytime soon is not really likely. He actually gets a quick sip in there of a couple of those stacks. He's doing super well on mana, so the mana game of dampening is probably not likely to be a good way for 3 Amigos to try to win. They need to make something super heavy happen in terms of damage very, very soon here.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of players do talk about the strength of those monks in dampening. Their healing output is just massive, and I agree. It could be bad for 3 Amigos going forward if the game continues this way. But C2 drops the mana tide. He's using those efficient heals, constantly dispelling off the dots. We see the MCS out on Novus. They're trying to put some damage onto him, but they need the CC over onto Sharpstorm to make things happen. And Sharpstorm is just not letting them get it. I mean, Nimble on cooldown, but he still has Trinket and Will. And Snuts is taking a load of damage right now. It's going to be dispelled off by C2, but now Van Ruki dipping low, down below half. Snuts sitting at about 2/3, C2 at half HP, and everyone on Penny for Your Thought is sitting pretty. They're basically at full 10 stacks of Mana Tea on Sharpstorm. C2 doing well on mana, so it's not really a big issue just yet, but we need to see that CC coming out. We need to see the pressure being ramped up here by 3 Amigos if they want to get a win, because right now I feel like Penny for Your Thought is the one controlling the game.
Yeah, 3 Amigos historically in this tournament has had a lot of success when they push up as a team using the gateway offensively, but they haven't been doing it this round very much.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of scary to do that when you're all sitting at about half health. We talk about how C2 is comfortable with having his team at half health, but you really still can't go on the offensive with that. Thugonomics actually taking a bunch of damage there in the silence, gets the life cocoon as well as that dark regen. Still super low. Whoa! Thugonomics goes down out of nowhere.
Wow, so much damage coming in on Thugonomics there, and just, I mean, wow, what a burst on him. And that's one of the things that, Warlocks are such a tough target to kill throughout the game because of their strong self-healing. But as you get deep into dampening, the self-healing really starts to taper off. It stops being nearly as effective. And deeper you get into dampening, the more effective of a target that Warlock becomes. And they are taking a look at something. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking at now, but it becomes a better and better target. And I think it seems like maybe just a little bit of a they underestimated the damage coming in. I mean, there is no Shaman Mage, there's no Nature's Guardian to kind of have that little buffer.
Yeah, I wonder if they're as confused as we are in terms of how exactly that much damage went out in a big hurry. They're looking at combat logs or something. We do have a replay, so that maybe we can take a look at that and see what happened here.
All right, so you can see, 3 Amigos pretty low here, but they are going to look for the turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, look, Thug's at full right now with a trinket up. I mean, he has everything available for him. It's just tons of damage comes out all of a sudden. If you watch Venruki's buffs, he starts to get, the offensive pressure that he needs through his trinket proc and stuff like that. But then there's a silence on top with the cocoon, and the cocoon fades and he just dies. I mean, the damage was crazy.
Yeah, they broke that life cocoon almost instantaneously. So 3 Amigos in it to win it. There you go. So, shout out to that guy and the guy with the Murloc hat. Pretty awesome. But lots of awesome people here in the crowd today. It's been fun, getting to see all the fans out here and having a little chance to talk to some of them. Lots of really nice people at BlizzCon. I'm always impressed by, how many passionate fans are coming out to these events.
Yeah, so when they're very, very disappointed that Thugonomics is actually playing Affliction right now instead of Destro. He's sort of known for playing Destro, even in the face of...
Sort of known.
Well, okay, so he's definitely known for playing Destro in the face of everyone saying, well, Affliction is better, Affliction is better, Affliction is better. Thugonomics made a name for himself playing Destro in the face of all that. It's very interesting that he's chosen to play Affliction in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things with Destro is, it gets kind of weaker the better players you're playing against, because it's so much about getting off these big combos. And when teams panic and they rotate their cooldowns inefficiently, they're like, oh god, it's Chaos Bolt. 2 people trinket, 2 people use their healing cooldowns, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
That's when it really starts to shine. Or they underestimate it, they let the Chaos Bolts go off, and you can just get absolutely erased. But teams like at this caliber, they have it planned out exactly what order they're using the cooldown. So, the first Chaos Bolt being cast is going to be Snuts using his Unbound and CSing. The second one is going to be the person trinketing. The third one's going to be C2 and trinketing and shocking. So it's like they have it all completely mapped out. So if you don't mess that up, it's so hard to ever get that Chaos Bolt off, and that's why the better the player is that you're fighting against, the worse Destro gets.
Right, definitely, and especially on a stage like this. I mean, watch Sea-Doo play throughout this whole thing. Even the threat of just the slot machine of Lava Burst coming out with chain procs, he's still letting his team sit dangerously low, but he's extremely confident that his team knows what to do in those situations.
Absolutely. So this game is going to get started here in just a second as the countdown goes down here. 3 Amigos up 1-0 versus Penny for Your Thought. We are on Tolvaron Arena. That is Penny for Your Thought's pick. So we're going to see if they can turn it around here or if 3 Amigos can claim their second win.
Yeah. All right. So right out of the gate, Venruki is going to try to get something set up with that Invis, looking to try to start some early pressure, maybe some early CC to toss some damage out and assist Snuts.
Yeah, and we need to see more of the kind of play that we saw at Thugonomics last game. He really had great pressure on the other team the whole way through, and Novos and Thugonomics are going to need that level of pressure if they want to be able to get a win here. Venruki kind of messing around a little bit with the back pedal in the middle, seeing he couldn't do anything with the Invis, so a little bit of fan service there maybe, but going to be looking to set things up. You can see he's just trying to build up those icicles right now. He's not actually going to use an Ice Lance to release them, so he's just putting up the living bombs, waiting for those Brain Freeze procs, and building up fingers with that. So now 3 Brain Freezes in a row, that's 3 icicles without actually having to do any hard casts yet. Now that's 4 icicles just from the Brain Freezes, and he's going to be looking for the setup.
Yeah, and being able to get those icicles on Tolvaron is actually kind of a big deal because you have to expose yourself so much to be able to get those. So a little bit of a ballsy maneuver there from Venruki, but he was able to get those icicles built up and ready for that burst. As Penny for Your Thought now is looking to maybe move in here and try and make something happen.
Yep, they definitely are going to be looking for that. Venruki sitting with 5 icicles once again, and this is the time that they want to get that CC. Will they gate in aggressively? That's a question on everyone's mind, I think. As we do see the dots being spread back and forth, Thugonomics and Snuts kind of trading blows here. Venruki still with the 5 icicles, is going to get hexed up, moving back towards Sea-Doo for that decurse, but Dispel's on cooldown right now for Sea-Doo, so he's going to have to sit through it. Now looking for the poly. He's going to be able to fake the shear. I think he gets locked out by Thugonomics after that, though. Now going to go aggressive, perhaps, as he is once again looking for the poly. Just happy to kind of just bide his time. Now the MCS comes out, and he is going to be the Icy Veins on it. With big damage coming out, he's going to have to... Oh, wow, nice dispel by Sharpstorm, actually, but still, the Alter Time is actually just proccing him down so low. Sean Rage has to come out anyway, even though the Deep Freeze got dispelled. So, a little bit of a mess up on the cross CC, or that could have been a trinket coming out from Penny for Your Thought. Penny
for Your Thoughts used a lot of cooldowns in that, too, and didn't do much. And, of course, now they're putting the pressure out, even without cooldowns up. We did see the Ascendance and the Stormlash from Novos.
Yeah, Sea-Doo now having to take a little bit of a break here to top his team back off, but that's fine. They had a nice little push there. They did pull all those cooldowns like you guys were saying. Even Nature's Guardian proccing there on Novos in that last little engage.
Oh, here goes Venruki. Here they go. He's going to gate in, and he does have 5 icicles as well, so they really want to get aggressive. They want to get back onto Novos before he actually gets Shaman Rage back up, but Novos and Sharpstorm kiting away, just using that kind of aggression against them. They know what the plan is here, and they're just trying to hold on to it. I mean, last game, their coordination was so good defensively. They didn't really have to blow anything until late in the game, and then it was kind of, too little too late, but still, 3 Amigos really struggling to get the CC on a Sharpstorm, and he sits down for a drink. He's going to be standing back up at full mana.
Absolutely, and that also allows him to keep all of those mana T stacks, which will come in handy if he needs to take a quick sip later on. Snuts actually summoning a Fell Hunter, probably going to go for that double interrupt to see if they can set something up here very, very shortly and see what he can do.
And that's a smart play. Like, he's going to push up with that. There we go. Now we see the offensive gate as immediately Snuts is thrown back by that Thunderstorm.
And there was the Shadow Fear on a Sharpstorm, but just no follow-up once again. But the triple howl comes in, that's big. It will force out the Tremor, so not too much there from Snuts, but still, if we can get another howl up as soon as that cooldown's off, there won't be the Tremor available. Now the Sheep comes in from Venruki. There's the Deep Freeze, immediate Shaman Rage used by Novos. Can they get the follow-up, Sheep? It looks like they can. Do they have anything after this? Not just yet. Now the Fear comes in from Snuts. Will this be a Nimble or a Will? Doesn't look like it. Sharpstorm wants to sit through it. Now the follow-up Sheep does come out. We see a Hex coming out as well. Novos, though, with the Shaman Rage up, is going to be just fine. And we see the Aura Master being popped there by Sharpstorm, dispelling off the dots, and now going to drop the Ring of Peace here onto Venruki, trying to shut him down and turn around the damage as Sea-Doo is into the Howl of Terror, going to have to drop the Tremor. Will be MCS on that by Thugonomics, who has the Demon Soul active and wants to turn up the heat.
And Venruki taking a lot of damage right now from Novos, who did have to Trinket earlier, so he's not going to have that available. Wow, Venruki with the defensive gateway, first one we've seen out of this series so far, so it's serious defensive-wise when they're going to do this. Sea-Doo, absolutely perfect mana situation for him.
Yeah,
I think it's good for him to port out of there instead of like potentially having to use the ice block. I do like that maneuver. This is a game that could go actually very deep into dampening like we saw the last one, so it's good to not blow everything too early. Try and be defensive. There is actually a life cocoon now on Novos, which was another one that was done at a really, really high health. Actually waiting until the end of it to pop that deep freeze and put a little bit of damage into Novos. Maybe not waiting quite long enough to actually do it, so he did still have a good number of that, or a good amount of that life cocoon available towards the end of it, but he is actually taking a bunch of damage in here as the Ring of Peace comes out to try and slow it down.
I really liked that Novos identified that Venruki did blink in, and that was the great time for him to hex Sea-Doo because there was no Dispel available.
Novos trying to get aggressive here, though. Does pop the Ascendance, has the trinket active as well. Going to be getting feared up on it, though. Really struggling to get the damage out that he wants with his cooldowns, and it does expire. Shadow Fury comes in. It's going to connect on Sharpstorm. Do they have the CC on him? MCS Deep Freeze. Charm Rage goes up. There's the triple howl. Not going to be able to tremor that. He doesn't have the cooldown. The orb comes out. Novos has to get out of there. Sharpstorm taking some damage. Does gate out as well.
Yeah, yes. It's good maneuver by Thugonomics in the middle of that to move that gateway so that the three Amigos can't immediately follow back up with their own.
Yeah,
but
and
Snuts has replaced it, so they do have the gate stacked once again.
Yep. And just watch the gateways during this. Both Warlocks playing kind of mind games, especially where Penny for Your Thoughts has been using it entirely defensively, with three Amigos choosing to use it offensively, which is where normally they pull the trinkets out of.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens if we do get late into the game, because although we felt that the pressure was heavily in the favor of Penny for Your Thought, they did lose in heavy dampening. So, you know, we'll see what they can get done this game. Venruki gonna trinket, but he gets incapped directly on that trinket. Unfortunate for him, as his damage is mostly gonna be wasted there. Nice play by Sharpstorm to set that up, and it's not even gonna cost them a Charm Rage in this Deep Freeze. It's gonna be back up for the next one. So that's definitely, you know, a win on the board for Penny for Your Thought as we start moving towards the dampening. Dots being spread around once again. Sea-Doo down to about half HP. Thugonomics wants to get the dots rolling on Snuts and Venruki, as Venruki's down dangerously low, down to 100k. It's down to 100k again. Sea-Doo really starting to struggle here. May have to blow some cooldowns. The pressure is massive, and the Shadow Fear connects. I feel like some cooldowns may have to come out, but they do get behind the pillar. There's the Ascendance NS. That's going to be enough to keep them safe.
And those are some big heals out of the Ascendance right there. But Snuts is still playing pretty aggressive right now, knowing that he isn't going to be the kill target. But look at how low he's getting already.
Yeah, Thugonomics actually getting caught in a deep freeze there for a second. Took a big chunk of damage, decided to use both his Dark Regen and his Trinket to get out of that in a hurry. So maybe a little bit of a panic move there.
Yeah, I think he just kind of got a little bit scared of what happened last game and pulling the trigger a little bit too early. If you're going to trigger, you just have to trigger port and you're 100% safe. So, you know, blowing both of those like that could be trouble for later in the game. Sharpstorm's getting hit with a lot of CC at this point, and three Amigos going on the offensive. We do see the Sheep over on Novos trying to shut down his damage, as they did have Thugonomics relatively low, but as the CC expired on Sharpstorm, the team's going to go back to full HP.
Yeah, and Sea-Doo once again sitting with his team at about 60 to 70% health on everybody. Venruki taking a little bit of damage here. That Tiger is out now. The Crackling Jade Lightning going as well. Thugonomics, though, Silence taking a bunch of damage into the Deep Freeze yet again. With the Orb coming out as well, there's going to be a ton of Ice Lances coming in, but Venruki having to Ice Block there to avoid dying himself.
Yeah, but look at how low he is still. The Incapacitate on top of it.
Nice Shadow Fear on Sea-Doo as well. Sea-Doo could be in some trouble. Snuts in some trouble. The heals come out from him. Dampening is pretty heavy here. Sea-Doo's going to have to blow some major cooldowns. Maybe the leg. Sea-Doo down. Oh, wow. Snuts was down dangerously low there. The triple howl comes out. That's going to be tremored up, but still, they are under a lot of pressure. Can they start to turn it around? They need the CC out onto Sharpstorm. Will they be able to get it, though? As Sea-Doo's still trying to pick his team back up. It looks like they are out of the woods for now, though. Sea-Doo back to the healing waves, feeling safe. You know, is just trying to be efficient once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Sharpstorm now dipping pretty low on mana. He does have 13 stacks of Mana Tea, but he does have to actually take time to drink those.
Yeah, Bargain came out there too. Snuts putting a lot of pressure out. He had double Trinket dots with the Dark Soul too, but Sharpstorm trying to clean his team of that. But look at all the damage Thug is taking as Cocoon gets tossed out right there.
And that was both Novos and Sharpstorm's Trinket. They were very scared for Thugonomics, and Thugonomics needs to have positioning. He needs to be near his portal, start using the gateway defensively, because he's just putting himself in way too bad of a position, and he's getting punished for it. He's having to blow these cooldowns because he doesn't have his port available defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And since Three Amigos has been doing so much focus on Novos in the past, like this change to start focusing on Thugonomics a little bit more might be catching Penny for Your Thought off guard a little bit. Might mean that Thugonomics, like, he just thinks he's safe out there because he hasn't been getting focused, and now Three Amigos is trying to make him pay for it. There's the Silence coming onto Thugonomics again. Novos was feared there for a second. Deep Freeze is trinketed immediately by Thugonomics to avoid taking that damage.
Full Sheep though on Sharpstorm. He's not out of the woods just yet. yet. Yes, he has the heals up, but the gateways are stacked. Will they go and chase them? We'll see if they're going to. There's a resheep onto Sharpstorm. The coax comes out from Stunts as well. If they can follow this up, they may decide to chase. The Halitair comes out on Sharpstorm. That's going to have to be willed. We do see that Venruki is still chasing him down. I mean, that's pretty much all the cooldowns gone from Thug. He had to use the trinket. He had to use the heals as well. Sharpstorm going to get refeared up. This one's going to be tremored by Novos. So they have lived through this pressure, but you know, next time they go offensive, it could be trouble. But at the same time, Penny, for your thought, putting a lot of damage out on 3 Amigos, and Sidu starting to feel the pressure of that. I mean, he's down low. Snuts is in a lot of trouble. The heals go up, but will it be enough? Snuts down is fully howled. Catches a big heal from Sidu, who has popped the Ascendance. He wants to pick his team back up and let them go offensive, try to get this kill.
Yeah, definitely. Sidu does still have his trinket as well, which is going to allow them to be a little bit more offensive, but still, that's a lot of damage coming out. Thugonomics taking a big hit.
Yeah, Thugonomics down to about half HP. Sharpstorm got a beautiful dispel off on the deep freeze, though. You know, they mistimed that cross CC the slightest bit, and that could have cost them their opportunity at a kill. And we see the defuse coming out from Sharpstorm, just trying to put as much pressure on them as possible, bringing PCUs offensively as well. Sidu gonna have the Nature's Guardian proccing. Venruki had to block in the midst of that. He's down low. He's gonna get in-capped out of the block by Sharpstorm. Nicely played by him. But Sharpstorm is low on mana. He has the T-stacks, but no time to use them. And Sidu, if he can keep them offensive, they could be going for something here. There's the Shadow Fury, full howl on Sharpstorm. He's gonna sit through. The Tremor comes out from Novo. Thugonomics sitting at about full HP now, actually does get topped back off, and Novos going for those lava bursts, looking to keep this pressure rolling.
Yeah, Sharpstorm dispelling right there, still sitting on 19 stacks, but he needs to find the time to use them. Nature's Guardian again proccing for Sidu because he's keeping himself so low.
Look at his mana, it just flies
a long channel.
He just used we got 200,000 mana back there, and I mean, you know, Snuts so low, has no mana. Nova's gonna trigger the deep, doesn't feel comfortable to sit through it. Pops the Shaman Rage as well, so using both. Sharpstorm actually triggered there also, but look at how low they all are. Sidu, Venruki, Snuts are up against it. He's driving the Ring of Frost defensively. Nice Shadow Fury catches all three. It's gonna take all three trinkets. Are you kidding me? The in-cap onto Sidu, full howl comes out. This could be it. I don't think Snuts can survive. Sidu's trying to keep them up, but will he be able to do it? The Chain Lightning's getting spammed out. They're being AoE'd down. They all gate out of there. Defensive Ring of Frost getting placed by Venruki. This will give them some time, but Sidu has the Battlemaster up. Snuts is so low, he can't afford to tap, and Sidu is struggling to top them back off. They need to get him top back off. They need to get him that mana back, but will they ever have the time? Sidu catches the Ueda spell. He's down about 20%. Snuts sitting low as well. CS lands onto Venruki there. Everyone on Penny for Your Thought is high on HP, but they did use their trinkets. They need to take advantage of this, but can they actually do it? Venruki gonna get hexed up. That will break to the dots. He's down to 200k. Snuts sitting low as well. Sidu catches a spell lock here from Thugonomics. It's just a blanket, so he can cast out of this, but will he be able to have the mana? Will he be able to have the time to keep his team alive? He dispels the UA. They're both down to 100k. The full howl comes in. He may go down here, 90k HP, 70k HP on Sidu. He's trying to survive. The orb comes out. They're looking for the turnaround on Thugonomics. He's down to half, but Sidu is struggling. Venruki down to 80. They're all so low. Can they actually survive here? I don't think so. They're all sitting dangerously low. Sharpstorm does will. They're trying to stay alive. Snuts heals come up off cooldown. They're both using them. Thugonomics uses his as well. Nice Shadow Bear catches 3 from Thug. This could be the end. Snuts down to 60k. He's still alive. Are you kidding me? If they can turn this around, it would be huge. They need to get the CC onto Sharpstorm though, and Sidu is playing like a god.
Yeah, it is ridiculous that 3 Amigos are still alive at this point. A lesser man would have let his team die at this point. Venruki at 1 hit point, and there it is. Wow. That's just too much constant pressure out of Penny for Your Thought. It just caught up to him.
Yeah, just, I mean, amazing play to stay alive at the end, but Penny for Your Thought, unrelenting, just keeping that pressure going the whole time. Thugonomics with some key Shadow Furies. You know, at one point, he had all 3 of the Shadow Fury, they all 3 trinketed it into a full howl, into the in-cap, and that is really where it spiraled out of control. You know, at that point in the game, you have to make those instant calls, you know, what you're gonna trinket, what you're gonna use it on, and I mean, all of them sitting very low. We can see 3 Amigos here having a little team huddle. They're gonna talk it out, see what went wrong that game, what they feel they need to change. You know, but you know, you have to be feeling a little bit of pressure there. Lost the game in dampening. The previous one was looking really good for Penny for Your Thought as well, but it was kind of that surprise turnaround kill onto Thugonomics. So, you know, I'm thinking we're going to see a much more close quarters map, but before we get to that, we're going to be able to have a replay and listen in on the team in the final moments.
Kill him, please. Go. Killing stream 10. Apollion. Yep.
1 point.
You're good. And this hexing fan, dude.
He got fucking Snuts. Snuts and bound. How? I'm rude. You're good. Finish.
Kill.
Go.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Very excited about that kill was Penny for your thought.
And rightfully so. I mean,
Yeah.
If you lose that, if you're down 2-0, it's so hard to ever come back. I mean, you know, you almost never see the reverse sweep coming out. So, you know, if you lose that could be pretty much the end of your tournament. And now, you know, having it tied up 1-1, I love Pi too, man. You know, it's definitely anyone's game. And although, you know, Three Amigos is the ones with the map advantage, so that is gonna be key. We're seeing, you know, kind of a revitalized Penny for your thought here. They're looking so much stronger than they did in regionals. They're really, you know, pushing Three Amigos to the limit. In the first game, I feel like that game should have been theirs if they played it a little bit cleaner at the end. The second game was theirs, and now going into the third one,
it not only was theirs.
Change?
I think it was theirs beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like it was just constant pressure. Even though the team, you know, might fare extremely well deep into dampening because of the healer, plus the amount of lava bursts that can just proc nonstop on him. But with Sea-Doo barely keeping his team alive when, you know, any other healer would have let them die at that point. That was crazy.
I have to give a nod to Venruki this game, though. Looking at the damage done, something I don't think I've ever seen in like a dampening game like this, the mage is actually way higher than the warlock. Snuts did about 17 million damage compared to almost 24 million from Venruki.
Wow.
Which is actually insane. Venruki actually outdamaged Thugonomics as well, and almost doubled the damage of Novos, so putting out a ridiculous amount of pressure, and that's just not something you really ever see. I mean, you see mages beat warlocks on damage, but it's usually in the quick games, the orb comes out, all the cooldowns are up, and they're, you know, hitting everyone, and you can't compete with their damage on that kind of short term. But to be able to keep up that level of pressure throughout an entire long game is insane. You just don't see it.
Yeah, for sure. But that's also what sort of was leading into how Venruki was like going between almost dead and not quite almost dead for basically that entire match. Never really was ever topped off for more than a couple of seconds. So there is definitely a major risk there in trying to stick on that much to be able to put out that much damage. I believe the players are still deciding, Three Amigos are still deciding which map they actually want to play on here, which is an interesting choice for them to make at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, they should take their time. This is not the time to rush in anything. You know, take your 5 minutes, take your time you have, make sure you're making the correct choice here. You don't want to have any regrets in a match like this. It's so important, especially, you know, this third game, giving someone that 2-1 lead really is such a momentum swing. So, you know, they've got to be sure they have everything sorted out. And, you know, just looking at the damage again, you have to think that the interrupts from Penny for Your Thought were amazing in that game on Snuts, because there's really no other reason that he would be that far behind Venruki in damage. And, you know, Snuts is known for his offensive pressure. He's one of the very best in the game at doing it. But, you know, that game, Thugonomics did about 50% more damage than him.
Yeah, I think Sharpstorm was dispelling a lot more than the first game. Whether that was just whether he was given breathing room by his team just because they were playing so offensive. But it was just night and day difference in terms of dot coverage.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing is, though, obviously from Three Amigos, Venruki's going to be dispelling off those agonies constantly. Sea-Doo is spamming dispel as well. So, you know, both sides, and I'm surprised to see that kind of a damage difference. It's just not something you ever really see, you know. But moving forward, you know, it is one game, and damage doesn't really matter. As we saw, you know, in some of the games from the WMD, you know, they had a couple games where they did, you know, a fraction of the damage to the other team because they were having to turtle out and play kind of differently. Same thing with the Windwalker Shadow Priest. I mean, the game that they won against Three Amigos, I think they did like almost 10% of the damage to the other team, but it's not always, you know, how much damage you do, it's when you deal the damage.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we will be getting this match started here in the very near future. Obviously, Three Amigos taking a good amount of time to make sure that they make the right map pick. They're talking over their strategy and everything, making sure that things are all set to go. And they do have the advantage, like we were talking about at the start of the day, the advantage that they did win on Nagrin, which means that now they only have to win on maps that they pick. So they can pick one that they're super comfortable with, one that they feel might disadvantage their opponents better, that will give them the advantage going into this next game. So it's definitely a good idea for them to sit here and think about this map for as long as they need.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think that map might be? Do you think we're looking at the smaller maps, you know, knowing that the strategy from Penny for Your Thought is definitely a very defensive one, kind of trying to turtle it out till dampening? Do you think we're going to see a Runes? Do you think we're going to see a Sewers? I mean, those are the two that stand out to me when you really want to kind of push the pace.
Well, the big thing for me with this map choice is, does it matter that much with these comps? Like,
I think it does.
You think
when
the map
team is playing that defensive. I mean, when they're trying to pull back, you know.
For sure. So we will be getting this match underway here very, very shortly. The teams are getting ready. The match is actually spinning up right now, so we should be able to get this started for you guys here very, very shortly.
Yep, and we are going on to Dalaran Sewers, which is, you know, I think that's a good play. The knockbacks from Novos are going to play a little bit of role, but now that there's the back staircase behind the crates, it won't matter as much.
Especially, you know, it's a double caster team getting knocked down. You know, the positioning is really the key thing with it. It's not so much that you're stopping their damage; it's that you can put them in bad positions and cost them games. And we saw one game actually in the regional tournament where, or actually no, it was last weekend when Novos got knocked down out of position. He was able to be taken out in the total turnaround. So you do have to be careful about that positioning. But it is going to be 3 Amigos going up against Penny for Your Thought. It's game number 3. These two teams are tied. Let them hear it, guys. This is an important one.
All right, the match will be getting underway here very, very shortly here on beautiful and scenic Dalaran Sewers. It's exactly where I would like to spend my summer vacation. Here we go, 5 seconds to go. We'll be running out of the gate here very, very shortly. And this match is now underway.
So we are going to be following Venruki out of the start. He is going to start in Viz right now, trying to set a little bit up, looking for his targets. As you already can see, Penny for Your Thought posting up on the far pillar.
Yeah, Venruki actually moving around behind there, it looked like, trying to set something up. And there's the Shadow Fury, though, coming out.
Oh, that was a good setup.
Nicely timed out of that dematerialize. We do see the Howl coming out on Venruki. That's going to be triggered immediately by him, as Snuts was the one dispelled by Sea-Doo. Now the dots removed once again. We'll see if they can follow this up, and I'll be interested to see which Warlock is going to be the first to actually get that upper tier gateway. The Deep Freeze comes in on Novos. That's going to force out the Shaman Rage. We do see that Thugonomics actually used his will as well. Novos still under a lot of pressure, not being topped back up, but now the Aura Mastery comes in there from Sharpstorm. He's going to be able to top him right back off, and Novos starting to get a little bit aggressive. Going to be able to pop his racial trinket, actually. He wants to do some damage here. We'll see what the target is going to be.
Yeah, 3 Amigos already starting to get into that sort of like half health, hanging out at relatively low HP, where Sea-Doo should be mostly comfortable at this point. But those knockbacks, like we were talking about earlier, can cause something terrible to happen at the last second. So he's going to have to be a little bit more careful.
But I mean, how careful can you be when you already blew Ascendance and your team isn't even topped off? Snut's still sitting low. Sea-Doo does top himself back off, but this is some huge pressure. Snut's going to get CS there. The Ascendance does expire with both of his teammates down about 30-40% HP. So Sea-Doo, you know, really is going to have to start burning through these cooldowns a lot faster. Snuts down dangerously low. He's down to 200k. Sea-Doo needs to get some work done here. He's going to dispel the UA off, but I mean, the pressure coming out from Penny for Your Thought is massive. But 3 Amigos, they want to stay aggressive. They want to just kind of dogpile on a Sharpstorm and try to get the CC, but it's not working. Sea-Doo actually hits the Nature's Guardian at 150k. The UA came up a split second too late, or he might have actually killed himself with that dispel. We do see the Snuts sitting about half HP. Venruki down 100k. That's going to be the first block, and no one is losing health on Penny for Your Thought. The pressure is completely one-sided. Venruki cancels the block. A nice end cap coming out from Sharpstorm immediately out of that is going to deny any forward pressure from 3 Amigos.
Yeah, Deep Freeze onto Sharpstorm, slowing him up there for just a second, but it does get the Life Cocoon out. So there's one cooldown used, but Life Cocoon has such a short actual cooldown that it almost doesn't really matter if they can't follow it up.
Yeah, and we do see Sea-Doo once again dispelling off that UA, down to half HP. He's going to be MCS'd off of that. It looks like Novos taking some pressure himself. He's down to half. We see that Snuts pulling back a little bit, going to reach off his port. You know, neither Warlock still has kind of moved their gateway up. I would like to see that, especially for 3 Amigos. If they want to play this aggressive, they can run forward, use the gate as a retreating mechanism. There's the Hex over onto Thugonomics. Deep Freeze on Novos. Big damage coming out. The trinket comes out from Sharpstorm. Shaman Rage as well. The Nature's Guardian procs also. And we do see that so much damage coming in. Now the Shadow Fury on Sharpstorm. Can they follow this up? We see the MCS out onto him. They're trying to kill Novos through the Shaman Rage. Are they going to be able to do it? Down to 100k. The Sharpstorm has a lot of work to do. He's starting to pick him back up though. Full Sheep comes in. He's going to have to sit through this. 3 Amigos getting really aggressive. Thugonomics pops the Demon Soul, trying to turn it around. They need the follow-up on Sharpstorm. They get the resheep. Nicely done by Venruki. Novos is down so low. He may go down. He's down to 1% HP. He goes down. 3 Amigos strike back. 2-1.
Just an incredible amount of damage there, and that amazing sheep into the DR sheep right after that, just keeping Sharpstorm unable from getting over there to top Novos off. Just too much damage for them to actually be able to deal with. Novos was actually trying to spam healing surges behind the boxes to be able to top himself back off, but it just wasn't enough. That was a very, very well executed, just snap burst decision to come out of 3 Amigos.
And I mean, you see the massive amount of pressure that's coming out from Penny for Your Thought, but 3 Amigos keeping aggressive throughout it. I mean, they know they need to get through these defensive cooldowns. That is the key to their victory. It's not about the overall damage. As long as Sea2 can keep them safe, they can stay aggressive. They can kind of just get in Sharpstorm's face. That's when the Monks really start to struggle. The Monks have insane healing output, but they start to really get in trouble as you start to force their defensive cooldowns fast, as they start to run into those CC breakers. That's where, you know, their weakness lies, and they know this.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, it takes a while to get there because they have so many different ways to break CC.
Especially the fears. You know, Will, Nimble, Trinket, Tremor.
Absolutely. Yeah. It takes a while, but once you're there, you can make something happen in that little window. It's just really, really hard for them to deal with. Especially even just with the shared cooldowns, because the thing is, they get that Will out, you get sheeped on your Will, you can't Trinket. There's nothing you can do. You actually have to sit through that. And once again, Venruki actually, you know, putting up massive damage numbers, you know, doing more than the Affliction Warlock again. So, you know, really stepping up here, I have to say, and the amount of pressure that he's putting out is just insane in this series. You know, he is playing human. He's taking full advantage of that. You know, stacking up the icicles and just, you know, doing these ultra time bursts with double 5 icicles, all his procs up. He's getting Brain Freeze, 5 icicles, and he's going nuts. I mean, he's literally almost killed Novos through Life Cocoon, through Shaman Rage at full HP. You know, like, there's massive amounts of heals coming out, all the damage defensive reduction coming out as well, and he's still almost dying. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, and I mean, they killed him through Shaman Rage, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that entire time, it was ticking.
They couldn't top back up. Yeah.
So much damage.
And we may actually have a replay of the end of that game. I'm not actually sure, but if we do, we could hop into that and you know, and hear how the game did end. But you know, for now, Three Amigos just going to chat it out once again, and you know, they're going to take their time. I think after every single match, just making sure that they're all on the same page, making sure they still, you know, feel that they're going into the right strategy. You know, different strategies about each map as well. And you know, Penny for Your Thought has to do the same thing here too. You know, where did they go wrong? How do we survive to the late game where they're really starting to take control? Because I mean, they are putting out way more damage. They are getting out, you know, a massive amount of pressure, but they even when it seems like they're way ahead, they can have those snap losses, you know, because MLS puts out a massive amount of damage and the amount of CC that they have as well. So both teams have a lot to think about, and they have to really make sure that they're performing flawlessly.
Absolutely. So we should be getting into this next match here very, very shortly. Both teams are just readying up at this point. So yeah, Three Amigos just needs one more win, and they will advance to the tournament. Penny for Your Thought needs 2, but that's something, again, that they could totally do at this point. I think there's a good chance of us seeing this go to a Game 5.
I definitely would agree. Blade's Edge going to be the pick here. Definitely a go-to map for those lock LE Shaman teams. You know, LE Shamans definitely love this map, and I mean, there's a lot of ways for them to kind of navigate the map. When you think about it, you know, Sharpstorm has his port up top. Thugonomics has his port up top. Right. Novus is kind of controlling the terrain with his Thunderstorm as well. So you know, there's a lot of ways to move around. You know, there are advantages for Resto Shaman also, though. You know, Sea2 can jump down. He can drop his healing stream below the bridge as well. Yep. And I mean, that's something that's so tough to deal with. It's really hard to take out those totems when they're constantly getting dropped off the edge. You know, he jumps down, drops his healing stream, goes wolf back up. How do you deal with that? Yeah,
it's just going to take full duration. I mean, they can't. The most that anyone could do would be Thug jumping down and porting back up, but that's such an important cooldown.
Exactly.
In this.
Yeah, you absolutely do not want to waste that on just killing a totem. But this game is just about to get underway. Let's hear it for these teams. Penny for Your Thought, 1-2 versus Three Amigos.
Yep, if Penny for Your Thought loses here, they are eliminated. And Three Amigos now match point, looking to move on to the semifinals. Whoever wins this series is going to be the last remaining North American team in the tournament. You know, having the hopes of their countries on their backs.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely a tough situation to be in, no matter what. Lots of hopes and dreams riding on this. There's a nice Shadow Fury there to get things started. Followed up with that silence onto Thugonomics into the triple howl. That's a pretty good opener there. Thugonomics actually trinketing that so that he can get a little bit more use out of that Dark Soul. It's definitely looking a little bit more favorable in the opener for Three Amigos than it has in previous games. But once again, Venruki now starting to take a bunch of damage. Sea2's going to have to try and keep him alive. He's going to be super comfortable with it right now, but it can catch up to him in a hurry.
Yeah, and one thing worth noting is actually Three Amigos did change to Horde for this one. Oh no, my mistake, sorry. They did not, so disregard that. But Nova's actually taking a fair bit of damage here. They are getting fully dotted up, and we do see that Snuts is actually spreading the dots around quite well here. Thugonomics, though, doing the same. We do see that Thugonomics is actually getting the better of this exchange. Sea2 getting pretty low here. Snuts rotting down a fair bit as well. The CS does land there on Venruki, and the fear does come in on Thugonomics as well.
Lots of dispels out of Sharpstorm so far, doing a great job of keeping his team clean, and of course having to cast get that agony up. Stacking from 0 is a huge disadvantage. Novo's taking a lot of damage. Look at that Nature's Guardian procced there with the Sham Rage on top of it.
Oh, and Life Cocoon also.
Bargain out of Thug.
Oh,
I wonder what happened there.
Definitely a misplay there from Thugonomics, and will Three Amigos be able to take advantage of that? I mean, that was the Nimble as well as the Cocoon, now the Dark Bargain wasted by Thugonomics, and if that's noticed, they can take advantage. We'll see if they're going to go for that, though. Sea-Doo sitting pretty low, his whole team rotting once again. Penny for Your Thought really ramping up the damage as they have each game. We do see that Snuts is rotting down. Nova's going to gate in there. He wants to get out as Sharpstorm's being CC'd. Now we see the Will actually coming in on Sharpstorm. He's going to be howled up off of that. Thugonomics has to trinket the Hex. Nova's in some trouble. He's trying to run away, but is he going to be too split up from his healer? He's down to half HP. Snuts going to be howled up. He's going to trinket that as well. Benrique with the trinkets active. Icy Veins is up there for him also. Sea-Doo trying to keep them offensive, but Sharpstorm has topped his team back off.
Yeah, there was an awesome little move by Sharpstorm in the middle of that there. Actually summoned several orbs around a pillar that he knew Novus was going to run to. Instead of trying to run all the way over and get to him, he was able to almost like pre-heal him so that as soon as Novus got to those orbs, he was topped back off in a hurry. Now Three Amigos taking a ton of damage.
Sea-Doo's actually just not even moving, so I think there was a DC, some sort of problem going on there. I'm guessing it's going to be a replay. But you know, he wasn't moving for the last 20 or 30 seconds of that game, so we'll have to see what's happening there. The admin standing right behind them. Shout out to Vanguard's doing a great job adminning so far, but yeah, I mean, I think we'll have to, you know, we'll have to wait for the official word on what went down, but you know, they stopped moving well before, so I'm guessing it was some sort of computer problem, some sort of disconnect, and you know, we have the admins sitting on both sides, so they're going to be, you know, watching. There's no shenanigans going on. You can't just fall behind and kind of alt F4 or something like that.
Absolutely. Unfortunately for esports, we are still somewhat reliant on technology. We haven't yet figured out a way to play it exclusively with our brains. But once we get there, then we can get rid of these sort of issues. But it does happen from time to time. I'm sure we will get things back up and running here very, very shortly.
And I mean, we really have had so few issues. It's been very smooth. We've been having a fantastic tournament so far. Large part and thanks to the wonderful fans out here. So a round of applause for yourselves, guys. I've been having a great time hanging out. And I mean, this is still at match point. Three Amigos, one win away from going to the semifinals. You know, we have 2 European teams, as we've already talked about, awaiting them in that semifinals. And it's a potential for 3 European teams, all 3 to get to semifinals, because the other side of the bracket does have WMD against the LSD2. But while we are waiting for this to get sorted out, guys, we are going to check out how these teams made their way here.
Warcraft World Championship. Players from Europe, North America, and Asia will put their teamwork to the test as they compete for the title of Best World of Warcraft Arena Team in the world. 8 teams are all that remain from hundreds of online contenders, and now all have the championship trophy in their honor. Through Blizzard Entertainment's global qualifier system, teams faced off in regional events to find out who would secure their spot at BlizzCon. In Europe, teams clashed at DreamHack Stockholm in the historic Ericsson Globe Arena to compete in the European qualifier. Fighting for 3 coveted slots, teams battled across 2 days of matches. With a trip to BlizzCon on the line, World of Warcraft witnessed some of the best matches of the year. Skill-capped EU, Playing with Fire, and Bleached Bones secured their spots representing Europe's finest in the World Championship. In Asia, teams from China, Korea, and Taiwan faced off in regional qualifiers before advancing to the Asia Qualifier Tournament. With fierce competition, teams from China and Korea grabbed the 2 Asian slots to the World of Warcraft World Championship. Pop CD No Skill from China secured their nation's slot, with Push Push from Korea representing their homeland at BlizzCon. In North America, the best talent on the continent met in the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. There, fans watched on as the best arena teams from the region faced off for the remaining 3 slots. Three Amigos, a team who has been kicking tail in World of Warcraft PvP for years, managed to snag the first slot, with Penny for Your Thought, who escaped from the lower bracket, and Death Innovators grabbing the other 2. Despite their home turf advantage, the North American teams will have to give it their all in the quest for the title of champion. The World of Warcraft World Championship. Though their roads have varied, the top 8 teams have their minds, wits, and teamwork put to the test in a gaming event like no other.
definitely an incredible journey for all these teams, even just to make it here, and gives you a little bit of an insight into why this means so much to them. I mean, qualifying from thousands of players online to get to the regional tournaments where only a couple teams from every region are able to even make it here, and then to be this far into the tournament, to be one game away from making it to the semifinals, where you're guaranteed so much more cash. You want to stay involved because it's a $250,000 prize pool, pretty sick. And first place is going to be walking home with 120K. So, so much on the line, not only just for pride, but also it's pretty sweet to walk away with 40K.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Looking at just the difference between second and first place, even $50,000 for second place and $120,000 for first. That's a fairly substantial difference between the two. It's not something that you can sort of say, oh, second place is good enough. Like, I mean, you definitely want all of that $120,000.
It's literally insane to think about when we go to the grand finals. Two teams are going to play 7 games potentially of arena for $70,000.
Yeah.
I mean, each win at that point is worth $23,000 something, right? So that's, I mean, if you look at it like that, it's like it's insane. It's just so crazy when you look at it in those terms, how much each series becomes worth. The farther you get into the tournament, the more you go home with. Every team is going to go home with something, though. Everyone's going home with at least 10K, as well as this fantastic trip, the memories playing on the stage. We've all been hanging out in California for quite some time, so players have gotten a chance to kind of tour around, have some fun. I mean, I've been here like a week and a half, and it feels like I just got here yesterday, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and the one thing that we didn't mention about first place is you also get those awesome trophies, which are sitting down in front of our stage right now. Only the winning team gets those trophies. There is no trophy for second place, third place, anything like that. So if you want to put that over your fireplace, next to all your awards from previous, like gym class or something, if you want to sit that up there, previous BlizzCons even. A lot of these guys have been here before. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, all 3 of the players on 3 Amigos, have won a global championship. C2 won an IEM, but he hasn't won a BlizzCon. His 2 teammates have already won a BlizzCon, and would like to add that second trophy to the case.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see if they're going to be able to do it. But they have a lot of competition in their way. When you look at some of the storylines here, Skillcapped EU, they were second place last year. They got all the way to the finals. They looked very strong. A lot of players actually thought that they were going to be the favorites to take it, but honestly, they just really did not play up to their standards. They didn't play, like, they were just such an exceptional team, and in the finals, it just did not feel like it came together. They just kind of got crushed by Skillcap. They got blanked, if I remember correctly. I believe it was a 4-0 in the finals. It might have been a 4-1 or something, but still, not the result they wanted. And now coming back this year, looking so strong. Can they carry that momentum forward and get that championship that they've been seeking?
Yeah, and of course the unfortunate, I guess, prize of winning in this particular match is you've got Skillcapped EU waiting for you.
You actually don't. You have Bleach Bones.
Oh no, sorry.
So I mean,
either way, it's going to be a crazy team to have to fight your way through to be able to advance at that point. Bleach Bones played so incredibly well, actually beating Push last time, and it was just by the skin of their teeth, but they did beat them.
Yeah.
So
and Push is looking so impressive. So to have already taken down them, they went 2-0 through their group. This team puts out incredible pressure. They really impressed me in the European regionals. They really impressed me last weekend as well. So definitely not a team you want to underestimate at all. But before any of these teams can really think about that, they have to get through this series, and that's really where their minds are right now. The team's talking it through. There was a computer issue, but it's being sorted out. So while they are getting that fixed, the players are going to have a little bit more time to think about this. How do they want to play out this next match? Do you want to play it aggressive? Do you want to play a little bit more of a slow-paced game? And Pay for Your Thought so far has really been the team that wants to be playing it defensively, that wants to be playing it a bit more safe and kind of stretch out the games. But will they continue to do that going forward? What do you think?
I think they're definitely going to want to try and keep it, like the matches where they were allowed to play super defensively that was the one that they won so far. And I feel like that sort of worked out for them, but I could see them trying to go more offensive. These guys are known for being relatively they want to be on the offensive a lot in the games that they've played previously. It's almost kind of funny that they're the ones that are now sort of trying to play defensively and pull back in this particular matchup. But that just shows you how much pressure 3 Amigos is able to put out in a hurry.
Well, and I think it speaks a lot to the adjustments that they made since regionals. They're looking so much better. You can see that they really do understand the matchup, I think, a lot more. than they did before. So they definitely have been playing very, very well this series, and I think it's anyone's game for sure. We do have a technical difficulty that is being sorted out though, guys, and we are going to go to a quick break. So if you have to run to the washroom or something like that, you can do that now. But we're going to be back pretty shortly with the rest of these games. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. We are here live once again in Anaheim, California, and we are still in the same series. It is a 2-1 lead, 4-3 Amigos over Penny for Your Thought. It's been coming right down to the wire. The players, have been having to wait a while, but we just saw some of them were warming up again. Making sure that there's not any kind of jitters or anything like that. So. We are going to be getting back into this game as soon as the players are ready, and I think they are, pretty excited to get this going. I know you guys are, and we are as well. We have this match to finish off. This is going to decide which North American team will make it to the semifinals. There will only be one of the three. 2 European teams have already qualified to the semifinals, and then after this, we are going to find out if it's going to be a Korean representative or a third European representative in the semifinals. Yeah, absolutely. This game is now starting up, actually. It should be ready to go here in just a second. They're in the game. The doors are just about to open. Here we go. Penny for Your Thought. 1-2 to 3 Amigos. We got to see how this ends. Let's find this out. All right, guys, it's going to be Thugonomics on the Warlock, Novos playing the Elemental Shaman, Sharpstorm on the Mistweaver Monk for Penny for Your Thought. And on the other side, we have Sea-Doo playing the Restoration Shaman, Snuts on the Affliction Warlock, and then Ruki holding it down for the Frost Mage. Absolutely. So here we have Venruki with that invisibility poking out here a little bit. Looks like they might be trying to set something up again here. There he does get the polymorph off. Right off the bat. Yeah, onto Sharpstorm. And then the deep freeze onto Novos, taking a little bit of damage there. Sharpstorm's actually just going to sit through that. That's fine. Triple Howl there just for a second. Thugonomics actually trinketed that. Looked like a tremor went down as well, so maybe a little bit of overlap there. Yeah, and they were trying to force that Shaman Rage without using their orb, but they're not going to be able to do it, at least not just yet. We do see that Venruki did pop his Icy Veins. His Trinket proc was up as well, so they're trying to continue the pressure here on to Novos. Sharpstorm going to get Nova'd up. Will they deepen for CC? Not just yet. Novos now trying to get a little bit aggressive, going to pop the Racial here. Does have those Lava Burst procs, catches the Ring of Peace as well. Shadow Fury now onto Sharpstorm. Can they follow that up? Grounding Totem going to be dropped by Novos. That's going to eat the CC. Well played by him, but the Sheep comes in from Venruki. What do they have for Novos here? Novos trying to pull back, is going to be able to do it. Gets out of LOS for now. Sea-Doo dropping those totems once again on the bottom, and they are going to look to continue the pressure as Venruki's now taking quite a bit of damage, being dipped down to about half. Yeah, absolutely. Even though there was that little bit of a delay in there between games, obviously these teams are still very, very excited to get in here and start beating each other up again. Venruki getting a whole lot of damage right now. Sea-Doo actually dispelling that UA. He's going to be silenced for a little while, but it is looking pretty good at the moment. Actually popped off a healing surge there, so he must have felt a little bit behind in terms of healing. Venruki's still taking a ton of damage here, trying to blink up here and keep the pressure going himself. Here comes the orb, though, from Venruki. They're going to try to turn it around. Shaman Rage has to be popped. Shadow Fury onto Sharpstorm. He doesn't have a Trinket or will right now. If they can get the CC, they may be able to continue this pressure. Sea-Doo dispels the UA off himself, down about 2/3 HP. Snuts and Venruki gonna get howled up, and Sea-Doo tops himself back out. He's gonna get out of there, try to start dispelling these dots again, and keep his team aggressive. They know they have the pressure going a little bit. I mean, they're down on health, but they're up on cooldowns, and that's really what they need to work off of. Absolutely, and you can see how much and how often CU is actually dispelling those dots. Just not able to keep up that constant pressure that they were in the previous game. So maybe a little bit of a change in just the way that they're approaching this. They're having him dispel a lot more. There's even another one dispelled right now. Venruki, though, taking lots of damage, dipping kind of low. Looks like he's gonna be okay. He's gonna try and get a sheep off there. Thugonomics in a full fear as well. Will get out of that, but yeah, definitely able to sort of defuse Penny for Your Thought a little bit better than they were in previous matches. And Sea-Doo continuing the triage healing style that worked so well in the 2 games that they won. I mean, look at Venruki down pretty low, but Sea-Doo is still just dispelling off everything that he can when he gets that moment to breathe. But Thug doing a great job of Novos is in a lot of trouble, though. I mean, there was some CC on a Sharpstorm. If they can follow that up, he was down to about 150K. Shaman Rage comes out, he's going to be okay. Yep, full sheep onto Thugonomics. He's just going to go ahead and sit through that into a full fear as well. He doesn't have an answer for that. Saw someone getting across the top there. I'm not sure exactly who that was, but definitely a gateway was used. So that's definitely someone feeling a little bit under pressure here. Snuts actually dipping pretty low, getting silenced. It looked like he used actually unbound UA, which is a big mistake, losing about 40% of his HP there. That's going to cost him his heals. Dark Regen, Hellstone go up for Snuts, so a costly error there from him. We'll see if it's going to come into play later in the game. Hasn't been a prioritized target so far, but they may decide to mix that up, knowing he's not going to have those cooldowns. Sea-Doo, same time, dispelling the UA, bringing himself down to about 150k.
Well,
Nature's Guardian going to proc there.
Nova's taking so much damage right now. Sharpstorm able to not succeed quite much, but look, even the haunt is being applied to Novos right now. He still holds on to his trinket.
Yeah, he does pop off a couple of healing surges there himself, getting out of line of sight for just a second, trying to top himself back off. Sea-Doo once again dispelling that UA, just constantly making sure that there's as little pressure coming out as possible. And look how much like safer the actual health looks on 3 Amigos in this match compared to previous ones. Yeah, Sea-Doo's taking a lot of damage. Yeah, he's getting silenced a lot, but his team is just in much better shape.
Yeah, Venruki, though, as you say that, taking a lot of damage here from Novos, getting spiked down relatively low. Novos trying to continue the pressure, looking to chase after him. Not going to be able to do it just yet, though. Sea-Doo is going to be able to top his team right back off. Now going for the hexes. Sea-Doo, will he be able to land it? Comes in on Thugonomics, quickly dispelled though by Novos. Life Cocoon has to come out as the Halotera does come in. That's going to be a Tremor Totem from Novos. Will get Sharpstorm out of that. The Ring of Peace goes down as well. Sea-Doo causes the UA dispel once again, just constantly clearing those dots off. And now the Ascendant's going to be popped here by Novos. He's going to be looking at Venruki. Will he be able to get the damage done? We see the Incap actually coming in on Venruki there as well, as the Temporal Shield did go up. He just gets out of LOS and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, and having to run during the Ascendance isn't something Novos exactly wants to do, especially when they tried to line it up with the Dark Soul dots coming out of Thug. So those were 2 very important offensive cooldowns that they had to burn.
This is trouble though. 5 Icicles going to be used. The Palm Sheep came out as well. Now the follow-up. There's the Resheep. The Howl comes out. Sharpstorm has his trinkets though. Novos sitting at half. Will they be able to get him? Yeah, the trinket comes out. Shadow Fury nicely on that. Could it be trouble for Novos? Doesn't look like it, as Sharpstorm is able to start topping him back off. Then Ruki goes into the incap. Well played by Sharpstorm.
Yeah, that was a nice time to use the gateway there for Novos. Just a little bit of extra, every little bit helps in terms of keeping himself alive there. Anything that you can do to not have to pop extra cooldowns. Was a Sham Rage in the middle of that, so they did get a little bit out of him, but he does still have his trinket. Sharpstorms is coming up soon. Sea-Doo just dispelling those like crazy. Does have his trinket as well though, and Venruki also, and actually Thugs is about to come off too.
And now Sharp was pretty low on mana, but he had 20 stacks, so as you can see, his mana skyrocketing up to 50% as he is going to try to
setup though. There is that Halotera over onto Sharpstorm. What can they get off of this? A nice incap over on his nuts. Going to break from the dots though. Full sheep out on Sharpstorm. Deep Freeze comes in. This may be the trigger from Sharpstorm. Novo's going to trigger it instead, prioritizing keeping his monks trinket. I think that was definitely a good choice there. Quick reactions by Novos is going to keep his Monk having that trinket at least for now, but the orb comes out. They have the fear over on a Sharpstorm. That's going to be the will from Sharpstorm. Novos in a lot of trouble though. MCS comes down. The procs are raining out from Venruki, but it's not going to be enough to spike him down. They're not going to get any more cooldowns.
Look at the difference this game with Sea-Doo's mana and his team's health compared to the games before.
Yeah.
It just seems like 3 Amigos is just dominating so far.
Yeah, the pressure seems a lot lower for sure.
Yeah, definitely looking much nicer so far, but there have been a few sort of iffy moments. However, Venruki hasn't even ice blocked yet, I don't think.
No.
Novo's now taking a ton of damage. The Sham Rage does come out. Looks like that's about, no, excuse me, there's a Life Cocoon as well. So a couple of big cooldowns there.
This could still be trouble if they can continue the damage. I mean, Novos isn't out of the woods just yet. The Life Cocoon expires, so does the Sham Rage. They have CC on Sharpstorm. That's about to end now. It looks like that is going to be the only cooldowns that they do force, unless Venruki does get some more damage in here, but he's not going to be able to. Popping the Temporal, pulling back up top. He's going to throw the CS over onto Thugonomics. Full sheep on him. He's out of LOS. That's the Unbound from Thugonomics as he wants to continue the pressure. Full dots being thrown around everywhere right now. Sea-Doo just desperately trying to dispel them off, try to keep his team aggressive. Shadow Fury now going to connect with Snuts there. Sea-Doo again takes the UA dispel. And you can see Venruki saving up those icicles, preparing for the burst. They're looking for the setup, and they need to start it off with the CC on Sharpstorm.
Yeah, they definitely need to make a move here relatively soon. Sea-Doo is starting to fall behind a little bit in terms of healing, although it's worth pointing out that this is where they were at like 2 minutes into the previous matches. So we're now at 15% dampening. Sea-Doo is doing an absolutely just ridiculous job keeping his team alive. Novos now taking a bunch of damage. Gonna try and Ghost Wolf out of there, but I don't know if he's gonna get away. There's a lot of damage.
If they can follow up with a sheep, this could be it. He has to trigger the Deep Freeze. If they can get that fear, yeah, the fear comes out. They just need 1 sheep and it could be the game. They do see the Windwalk Totem coming down. MCS over on a Sharpstorm. Still no sheep out from Venruki. He's being interrupted very well by Novos and Thugonomics, but Thugonomics is feared up now. Novos does use the Sham Rage. Venruki now looking for the poly. Sheared again by Novos. Just getting shut down so hard. Frustrating moment there for Venruki, as that could have been the game had he got the sheep.
The one downfall of Sea-Doo constantly dispelling was that he could not get Venruki out of that Hex, and they would have been able to score the kill without that. So that was great CC by Novo, stopping so much damage.
Still though, this could be trouble. Shadow Fury onto Sharpstorm. Alter Time comes out from Venruki. I believe it was perched off there though. That's nice play by Novos. He does get feared on it. They dispel it off. So really just kind of shutting down Venruki in these last couple moments. Once again, trying to get the sheep. This time it's going to be LOS. Now Venruki back into a Hex again. And they are just constantly throwing these interrupts out on him. Now the in-cap comes out on Venruki. He's going for the ring. We'll see if this does connect. That one's going to go down, but he gets sheared again on the poly. As the Ascendance comes out from Novos, they're trying to get the damage rolling on him. Out comes the Icy Veins from Venruki. Into the Deep Freeze on Novos. So they have the CC. Yes, the Sharpstorm does get Shadow Fury. Novos going to have to pop the Shaman Rage. The Will is available for Sharpstorm. Trinket available for Novos. And Sea-Doo under quite a bit of pressure here. His whole team sitting about half HP, but he's going for the healing wave. Now a Surge does come out. As he starts to really fall behind a little bit, he realizes he can't worry about being as efficient.
Yeah, and in the midst of that as well, Sea-Doo dispelled the UA that actually dropped him low enough to proc Nature's Guardian. So he does not have that cooldown available for himself. Very, very risky play in there. Novos now taking a bunch of damage, dipped a little bit low there. Is going to be okay for the moment, but he's dipping so low. That healing Surge coming out, just trying to keep himself alive. Sharpstorm, silenced, unable to help him out at the moment. He's going to come out of that silence. There is the Life Cocoon coming out, so Novos should be able to stabilize right now, but he's still taking so much damage.
Yeah, and Sharpstorm had to will there. They have about a 10-second window before he gets his PvP trinket back. If they could get some CC going, something could be forced here, but I mean, Novos still sitting low. Shaman Rage not for 20 seconds. They should be able to force the PvP trinket from Sharpstorm pretty easily if they can keep this pressure up. Sea-Doo just needs to use his cooldowns aggressively, keep his team offensive here. There's the sheep onto Sharpstorm. The Nova maybe going to come out. Shaman Rage comes up just in the nick of time. Shadow Fury to follow the sheep. Full Howl now comes out. The Tremor goes down, but they do sheep right over it. That's going to be the trinket from Sharpstorm on the GR sheep. Nova's still sitting low, 200k. The big heal does come in from Sharpstorm, and he's going to be okay for now. But once again, the big cooldowns have been forced. No trinket on Sharpstorm, no Shaman Rage or trinket on Novos. Next CC chain could be the game for 3 Amigos.
Absolutely, there's no Life Cocoon just yet as well. It does have a relatively short cooldown, but they have a big window right now where they might be able to use it. Venruki actually getting feared off to the side there as a frog even. Sea-Doo now dispelling dangerously low. Is going to proc that Nature's Guardian yet again and actually pop his Stone Form there as well. 3 Amigos starting to get kind of low. They need to make something happen here soon.
Yeah.
With 33% into dampening, Sea-Doo's not going to be able to keep them alive forever.
And a pretty big mistake. The Deep Freeze came out onto Novos. That was their kill Deep Freeze, and they did not get the cross CC on Sharpstorm. He dispelled it off immediately. They lose all their pressure with that. The cooldowns are going to be back up. He will have Shaman Rage for the next one. A huge mistake from 3 Amigos to not be able to get that cross CC.
Yeah, and there's Venruki's first ice block of the game, actually.
Oh, look at Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo, wow, dipping so low, but he was out of line of sight, and these are risky dispels, but...
Yeah, but there's the full sheep. No trinket available from Sharpstorm. They're going to try to get aggressive here on Novos. Can they land the Deep Freeze? He's already down to half HP. A Shaman Rage does come off cooldown. They get the resheep. Shadow Fury comes in. Now the Shaman Rage comes out, but is it too late? Sea-Doo may go down. He's at 60k. He's trying to stay alive. Will he be able to keep his team up? Spearwalker's great up there, but Venruki's going to go down, I think. 60k, gets to the heal. Another from Sea-Doo. Battlemaster Link comes down, but it still may not be enough. Novos with the MCS. Sharpstorm still with no PvP trinket. They're trying to retreat. Sea-Doo's desperately trying to keep his team alive, but he has no mana. Will they be able to stabilize? He gets behind the pillar. Healing Surge comes out, but Snuts is low as well. Dark Regen going to go up from Snuts. They need to get the CC and end this game now. Sea-Doo cannot keep them alive much longer. The mana side comes down.
Sea-Doo himself is in so much trouble right now. Oh, the Shadow Fury lands on top of him. Trinkets that short Shadow Fury with one healing surge. It picks him back up to 30% as Snuts is doing his best.
Could this be the turnaround, though? There's the fear on a Sharpstorm. No will or trinket available. They're looking for the sheep. Deep Freeze could come in. They did get that Life Cocoon up, but Snuts may go down. He's down to 100k. Will they be able to survive? There's the full sheep. They're looking to get the kill, but it's not going to be enough because the trinket is available. They both trinket. They overlap, but Venruki is going to go down.
Wow. That was just so back and forth throughout the entire match. 43% into dampening. That match felt like it was only a few minutes long. There was just so much action in it.
Yeah, and I mean, really, I just think it came down to that one moment. They had all cooldowns forced. That was their kill. And unfortunately, they just didn't get the cross CC. You know, the Deep Freeze came in from Venruki, but there was no Blanket CS. There was no Shadow Fury. There was no Spell Lock. Nothing coming in onto Sharpstorm. He dispels the Deep Freeze before that cross CC comes in. And that gave them the time to rotate their cooldowns back up. So, you know, it's these little things that just make the difference in these games. You know, both teams playing fantastically, but I think that was 3 Amigos game to lose. And I mean, you know, the one mistake there, it is a small one, but it's going to cost them the game.
Yeah, and there was actually a moment just before Venruki went down, just in like a few moments before that, where they had an opportunity to land a deep freeze on Novos and possibly kill him at that particular point in time, but Novos managed to get a Hex off on Venruki first,
right.
And Sea-Doo couldn't dispel it because there was UA and he would have killed himself. So definitely a very, very tense match towards the end there.
I mean, so much on the line here. It's going to be game 5. We're playing for $250,000 total prize pool. You know, $120K for first place. If you get knocked out now, you go home with $10K. Not too shabby, but I mean, you know, none of these teams are here to lose. Both these teams, you know, we had interviews with them last weekend that we got to see. You know, both teams were saying it's first or it's last. You know, there is no in between. And to go home now would just be absolutely devastating for either of these teams. You know, especially 3 Amigos, such high expectations. You know, crushed through this team in the regional tournament. You know, definitely extremely confident going into this. You know, if they were to fall here, I think it would be fair to say it's a pretty big upset.
What do you think was the big change between regionals and now from this matchup?
I feel like Sharpstorm is putting himself in a better position, and I think a lot of that is because Novos' positioning at regionals was not that good. I think that he was kind of pulling Sharpstorm into positions that were kind of not that great by getting too aggressive, and I feel like Novos has really kind of taken a step back on that. His positioning has been excellent. He's still keeping up the damage, but he's not putting his healer in those tough spots, and it's allowing them to have the chance to have those cooldowns come back up and, you know, to properly rotate them. You know, one mistake with the cooldown rotations, or, you know, one double cooldown usage, one early trinket, anything like that can spell the end of the game, because you know, although the Monk does have like insane healing output and can heal you up to full almost instantly if he can be free, if he does waste that trinket, he's not going to get a chance. You know, the CC chain won't end, and you're going to lose.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, like we were saying earlier, this team, Penny for Your Thought, is known for very, very aggressive play.
Yeah.
And they've actually been the ones on the defensive for most of this. They've been just taking it back, saying, okay, we can win this eventually. We're okay with waiting for the win to actually come around. And it's obviously working out very well for them, though, because we're tied 2-2.
It is. Early on in that Blade's Edge map, I thought it was completely in the favor of 3 Amigos. Just Sea-Doo doing a great job of keeping his team very, very offensive. You know, able to dispel them out of all CCs, keeping up on all the UAs and stuff. But it wasn't, once the dampening started to kick in and they were about 15% into dampening, that's when they started to fall behind.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair though, we have to remember this was the map selection of Penny for Your Thought. You know, and Blade's Edge is really not where you want to fight against an Elemental Shaman. You know, and the Monk has a port, Warlock has a port, the LE has the knockoff. This is, you know, all those classes really have a strong way to kind of, you know, use the mechanics on the map. So, you know, using that second level is very advantageous, and, you know, it can make it pretty tough for them. You know, the amount of damage that was coming out on these guys, not really a lot of great places to LOS and stuff. We talked about some of the advantage that the Resto Shaman does gain from that, like putting your totems in tough to hit spots, but as the game went late, that becomes less and less of an advantage, because as we saw, Sea-Doo was just completely tapped. It wasn't, you know, an issue of keeping totems alive or any small little thing like that. It was simply had no more mana, no more gas in the tank.
Yep. Yeah, so they are now discussing, I would assume, trying to figure out which map do they even play on, maybe discussing that last game a little bit, trying to figure out what they can do differently, if there's anything they need to do differently, or if just picking a different map might be the win for them.
It will have to be Tiger's Peak, I believe. That is the last map, right?
Let me see.
I'm not sure, because it's been a while since we started this series. I'm not sure exactly.
Tolvaron would still be available.
Tolvaron's still available, or Tiger's Peak? Okay.
I believe.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't think they would want to play on Tolvaron. I feel like, you know, with the play style that is being shown here, did they play on, I can't remember. But anyway, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like they need to be the ones that are kind of like asserting their dominance. They need to be the ones that are aggressive and just, you know, constantly get through those cooldowns of Sharpstorm. If they can be the ones that are the aggressors, especially early in the game when Sea-Doo has an easier time healing through that damage. I mean, if it gets super late into dampening, it's just so hard to even go aggressive because you're just at such a threat of dying the whole time.
They were playing just completely on their heels, just constantly, you know, trying to make up for what happened previously throughout the match. The thunderstorms were devastating because Snuts and Venruki got split so many times. And so every time that they wanted to set up for a kill opportunity,
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't see if that was what happened. It could have been a thunderstorm that knocked someone off, couldn't get the CS on a Sharpstorm, in that critical moment that we did talk about. So it is definitely something that is really important to keep in mind, because the thing is, although it's easy to say, oh well, they just shouldn't have gone if they couldn't get their setup. The problem is you have to go every time your deep freeze is up, or they will have a cooldown up for it. You can't just wait for the perfect time. You have to be able to force those attacks, force your opponents into bad situations, and coordinate really well. Because if you're not in the right spot at the right time, it just doesn't work out. You have to be so fast. Shaman Rage is a minute cooldown. Life Cocoon, 2-minute cooldown. You have 2 PvP trinkets, both on 2-minute cooldowns. You have to work through Nimble. That's a 1-minute cooldown.
Yep.
Will, 2-minute cooldown. These are all things that basically have to be down before you get that kill.
Yep. And that's so much to burn through. They were doing a great job early on forcing those, just back to back. We saw lots of stuff come out from Thug actually too. Lots of PvP trinkets, like just using everything possible to stay offensive. Yeah, I mean, you have to give a lot of credit to Penny for your thought, though. I mean, they are just rotating those cooldowns so well, and keeping the pressure up. And as the team that kind of just has to live, sometimes it can appear easier, but you have to not make just any defensive mistakes. Those are the things that really cost them, and it can be the difference between getting something that looks like a pretty comfortable win and just losing in the first 15 seconds of the game. And that's exactly true. Like, if 3 Amigos can bring the incredible pressure to the point that Sharpstorm, is really panicking. I mean, what I've really liked out of Sharpstorm so far, that it might be a questionable decision when you're watching, like a few minutes into the match, when the first time he starts to get CC'd, he's tossing out that Life Cocoon.
I think it's really smart.
Hesitating. It's great.
I mean, it lets them hold on to Shaman Rage, it lets them hold on to PvP trinkets, and those are just so much more important, because the thing is, you can use the Life Cocoon when you're stunned, so when they do a Shadow Fury into the CC, he throws it out then, knowing that he's not going to have the opportunity to do it later. So, really smart stuff from Sharpstorm, but guys, it is tied up 2-2. If you would like to see 3 Amigos go on, let's hear it for them. And if you want Penny for your thoughts to get the upset, let's hear it for them, guys. Seems pretty even, actually, on both sides. This is game number 5, guys. This is for the semifinals. Let's find out which North American team is going to be representing.
Straight out of the gate, Novos is looking for his target, has to really get those Flame Shocks up right away, because the pressure needs to start beginning to end for this team.
Yep, definitely does. We'll see what they're going to be able to get done. benrookie, envising in there, going to get aggressive. Will he be able to get off the start that he does want? I mean, just going to have to settle for the Sheeps on Thugonomics. And I mean, it looks like with the way they're set up, I really think that Sharpstorm is just going to camp the room. I don't even think they want to come out at all. And we can see that Snuts already has moved the gateway up on top of his opponent's gate. They know they have to play aggressive. They know they have to be the ones setting the pace.
Yep, absolutely. Thugonomics taking a little bit of damage here at the start. Novos into the silence, taking some damage as well. Nothing too major just yet. It looks like they're just sort of trying to build up here. Let benrookie get all those icicles built up, get the dots rolling, get everything ready.
Sheep, though, they are going to be going pretty aggressive here with that Palm Sheep. The Deep Freeze comes in on Novos. Hex over onto Thugonomics into 3v1. Can they follow that up? There's the Howl. There's the Sheep as well. The Shaman Rage comes out, as well as the AoE dispel from Sharpstorm there. Novos does have to use that, but if that cross CC came up a split second earlier, he may have been able to have to force a trinket.
Yeah, as you see, benrookie completely dotted up right now, trying to toss out a very DR poly onto Thug right there. Novos has Ascendance up too, so those are some pretty big cooldowns coming pretty early from the team with Penny for your thoughts.
Yeah, and they're not really giving Novos much of an opportunity to even use his Ascendance at the moment, so very, very good positioning there from 3 Amigos. Actually, the silence now coming out on Novos.
Here they go. There's the Shadow Fury on Sharpstorm. Yeah, the Hallow Tear to follow that up. Deep Freeze came in on Novos. They are unleashing those icicles, but the Tremor goes down and easily shut down Swap there.
Yep. Very, very nicely handled there by Penny for your thought. They were obviously expecting that to happen at some point, and they were just ready for it when it happened. Thugonomics now in a fear, not too worried about it. Novos now in a full fear as well. He's going to go ahead and tremor that. So now they're switching over onto benrookie, trying to put a little bit of damage into him. Sea-Doo still dispelling those UAs like crazy. Sharpstorm as well actually starting to dispel those too. So battle of the dispels at the moment. Sea-Doo doing a really great job though, keeping his team topped off again.
Here is the Howl though. The orb comes out. Deep Freeze on Novos as well. No tremor available this time, so he will have to sit through it. They do get the Shaman Rage at least, but that is the orb gone. And really, once again, we see 3 Amigos on the back foot here. Sharpstorm, sitting pretty well on mana because he has so many Manatee stacks. He's right back up to 170k. Novos, though, getting based down really hard. Sharpstorm does have to force a trinket there, so that is something very important. And honestly, that just seemed like he tried to drink too much Manatee there. Got a little bit greedy, fell behind on healing Novos, and out of nowhere, has to blow that trinket.
Yeah, absolutely. That's sort of how Three Amigos is playing this, is they're just every once in a while, out of nowhere, a whole bunch of damage. It's almost like jousting. They just show up and suddenly stab you with a giant angry stick. So we'll see how Penny for Your Thought can continue to deal with that. There's a full sheep onto Sharpstone. He does not have his trinket. He's going to have to sit through this whole thing. Deep freeze onto Novos. He trinkets that immediately. Good reaction there from Novos to get out of that. There's the triple Shadow Fury on them as well.
They are just so on the back foot, though. The NS Hex comes out there from Novos. I do believe it guts Dispelled right off. But I mean, Sharpstorm is just getting stacked on it. They need to start moving. They can't just be sitting here the whole time, I don't think. Benruki, though, forced into the ice block. Sidu has some work to do. He's getting pretty low with that UA Dispel. Will he be able to pick his team back up? Sharpstorm has a lot of Manatee stacks, but does he have the time to use them? He's basically and Novos is sitting at half HP. Haunt, full dots up there. Sharpstorm's now at 1,000 mana. MCS comes in, and there's the Deep Freeze. The Howl comes out. He's got a Willis, surely, but he's trying to sit through it. He wants to hold on, but the Shadow Fury comes out. The Shawn Rage is up as well. Sidu's sitting pretty low, but Novos is even lower, and Sharpstorm is just not finding the time to get these Manatees off. The pressure from Three Amigos is immense on these cooldowns, but at the same time, Benruki being pushed back once again. Sidu in a good spot on the side, healing his team from far away.
Yeah, definitely. Keeping up the pressure on Sharpstorm as much as possible, not letting him get his mana back. They know that they can burst Novos down in a hurry, but they can't let Sharpstorm heal him. And there's a big drink coming from Sharpstorm, topping himself up all the way to 50%. He actually channels the Zen Med for a second there.
Though he doesn't have a break for this. Novos has no Shawn Rage either, I don't believe. Will they be able to get the Deep Freeze out and follow up with that damage? Doesn't look like it just yet. Benruki getting forced back. Halotera on both the DPS there from Thugonomics. Nicely done to shut down that surge forward from Three Amigos. And you know, you have to feel the pressure is on Three Amigos here. They're the ones who are kind of under the pressure to get something going here early in the game before dampening really starts to kick in.
Sidu eats another Dispel onto the UA as Benruki is down to half right now, but look at these dots all over the team of Three Amigos. Sidu's trying to keep up, but no, Thug's just doing such a great job of coverage. Here comes the Ascendance with the Deep on top of it, but no follow-up because of that Life Cocoon.
Yep, Life Cocoon, I mean, doesn't even bother willing or tremoring or anything for that full howl. They know they can sit through it because of that Life Cocoon, so well played there. Snuts actually unbound Will's UA, takes a ton of damage as a result of that. That puts Sidu a little bit more behind again. Sidu, you know, is able to top off Benruki, but they have some work to do here. We'll see if they can get it done. Shawn Rage comes out before the MCS. Sheep was over on a Sharpstorm, but there's no follow-up, and there's no Deep Freeze on Novos. Things are looking bad for Three Amigos. Full X comes out on Benruki. That's going to break to the dots. Sidu now popping his Ascendance. It does expire, and his team is still sitting low, so this is just such a tough position for him. He has the mana, but he's just not, you know, being able to get enough healing out right now to get his team topped off, and Novos, once again, sitting a little bit low. Trinket back up for Sharpstorm. Will as well. He has basically every cooldown he needs.
Yeah, Penny for Your Thought is doing an amazing job with that cross CC at the moment, making sure that every single time Three Amigos tries to push in and make something happen, somebody gets CC'd. There's a double howl going out, a Hex onto Thugonomics, a Deep Freeze onto Novos. He's going to start taking a bunch of damage here, but Sharpstorm now into a full poly. He has his trinket available. He doesn't look like he's going to use it, though. Novos feeling okay at the moment. Drops a healing surge on himself. There's a triple Shadow Fury also. Novos actually might be kind of in trouble here. Sharpstorm does still have that trinket, but he just hasn't used it yet.
Yeah, he does use the AoE Dispel to heal his team back up a bit, but there is that Nature's Guardian proccing MCS on a Sharpstorm. Can they follow this up at all? Nova's still sitting pretty low, but they're just having so much trouble with getting the CC out. Now there's a Fear coming in. Nova's getting very low. The spell lock comes out from Snuts onto him, trying to deny that Tremor Totem, and that's going to be the Will of Forsaken used by Sharpstorm there to get out of the Fear. And now Penny for Your Thought feeling confident. They're surging forward here. Shadow Fury connects on two. Halotera to follow that up. Sidu dispels the way off of Benruki. He wants to keep him aggressive. Knows he's the key to getting that CC on Sharpstorm and looking for a win.
Yeah, the dot pressure is just crazy on Three Amigos right now. Full row of dots up on all three of them. They are not able to keep the same pressure out. Snuts has not been able to keep the dots up nearly as much on Penny for Your Thought, and it's definitely giving them some issues.
They did get the trinket, though, and there's no trinket on Sharpstorm. Full Sheep comes out on him. This could be trouble for Novos. Do they have the damage to follow it up? Hex onto Benruki. Not going to be able to be dispelled by Sidu. It's still on cooldown. Shadow Fury on Sidu now to deny the end of that dispel. He's going to have to sit through everything, really. We see a CS now over onto Benruki. Shawn Rage has been popped here by Novos. A Fear over onto Sharpstorm, but he has his trinket available. And now the damage getting turned right back around. Sidu sitting pretty low here. The Unleash going to be popped. Benruki taking massive damage, though. Temporal comes up. Can he get the CC over onto Sharpstorm? No, it's going to be LOS once again.
So now they're pulling back right now. This is really smart of Three Amigos. They need to get them out of that room. But the problem is they can't just let them sit in there. So it's a very tough decision for 3 Amigos right now.
Yeah, it's Nuts dipping super low. Sea-Doo now in
This could be the game. Sea-Doo is so low. The MCS comes out. Shadow Fury to follow it up. He's going to feel confident to sit through it. Battlemaster does go up there, but look at how low they are. He's so far behind. Sea-Doo with a lot of work to do here. What is he going to be able to use to get it done? Venruki still sitting low, has the Icy Veins up, but he's having to use it defensively, just spamming out those sheep. Nuts pulling back as well. The healing rain goes down. Sea-Doo really feeling the pressure, needing every single heal he can to top his team back off. Now the fear coming out from Snuts. It's going to be over on Thugonomics, trying to shut down the damage, but the CS comes out on Snuts. He could be going down. He's down to 10% HP. Very big trouble there for Snuts briefly, but Sea-Doo once again picks him back up. Nature's Guardian procking though as the UA is dispelled, and they're getting aggressive. The triple Shadow Fury comes in. The Howl surely he's going to follow it up. Knockback from Novos. Shadow Fury thrown back from Snuts. Howl comes out on both the DPS as well from Penny for Your Thought. Snuts trying to give Sea-Doo the time he needs to heal his team back up.
Yeah, 3 Amigos in a very tense situation right now. Sea-Doo doing everything in his power to keep them alive, but I don't know how much longer he can keep it up. There is a full polymorph on Sharpstorm. He does have his trinket available though, and he's not really feeling like they're in any danger at the moment. A little bit of damage going out on Thugonomics there. He will pop the Dark Regen, but he's going to be completely fine otherwise. And now Venruki taking a whole lot of damage, dipping kind of low, trying to keep those polymorphs out just to limit the amount of damage that they're taking. There's a nice fear on Novos as well, but that's going to be tremored. And this is just looking really
Here comes the burst forward though. They're going to be popping the orb. Deep Freeze comes out on Novos. He's going to trigger that immediately. MCS on the Sharpstorm. Novos is in trouble. He's a 30K. He's going down. Are you kidding me? The turnaround out of nowhere. 3 Amigos are going to the semifinals.
That orb.
I don't even have words. That was ridiculous.
That was so much damage.
They're going to fight it out. They're trying to kill off Sea-Doo, but we all know how this story ends. An Affliction Warlock should not be able to kill off the Shaman in the 1v3, but Sea-Doo is low. He's not going to take any chances. Does Trinket, pops the Spearwalker's Grace, but just the presence of mind there to be able to turn that around, to stay together, stay confident. You know, one overextension is all it took. Novos, Sharpstorm, Thugonomics, they should have stayed in the room. There was no reason to come out. They were dominating the whole game.
I love that 3 Amigos baited them out. That was awesome.
That was the game. You know, Novos, Thugonomics, Sharpstorm get overconfident. They had the game in the bag. All they had to do was stay in the room. They were winning so hard in that, and they get aggressive. They feel like they can finish them off. It gets turned around, and there is your North American representative. They're going to the semifinals. That's Venruki and Sea-Doo, the 3 Amigos, stay alive in the tournament against all odds.
And the damage difference from the Warlock, like you were saying, I mean, Penny for Your Thoughts was dominating that. Thug almost pretty much close to doubled Snuts' damage that match.
Yep. It just takes that one surge though, as we saw. Just that one moment you can do, like you can do 2 million, 4 million, 10 million damage over the course of a fight. You could do 1 billion damage. It doesn't matter as long as you can do that 500K at the right time.
And I mean, you have to give it up for Penny for Your Thought too, guys. Let's have a round of applause for them. They played a great series all the way to Game 5. Nothing to be ashamed of there, but it really just did come down to a little bit of overconfidence. You know, I feel like if they stayed in the room, the game was in the bag. You know, 3 Amigos were completely ineffective. They were getting nothing done the whole time, and as it got further and further into dampening, it was only going more in the favor of Penny for Your Thought. But as they got them all low, they felt they had the chance to push forward, get that kill. But we saw as soon as Sharpstorm came out of the room, I mean, a sheep into a Shadow Fury, into an MCS, that was the game. It was it. I mean, Venruki had all his procs stacked up. That we talked about the ability of these mages when they have everything set up right to kill through all the cooldowns. And I mean, Sharpstorm used his trinket. Shaman Rage was used as well, but he just died through it.
Yeah, that was very much a last-ditch effort, though. If they hadn't gotten that kill right there, Penny for Your Thought would have won that match. But as it stands, 3 Amigos are our winners. We have Zoe over on stage, ready to give the interview.
Thank you very much, guys. I am now joined by 3 Amigos. They got to the semi-final, and that was the closest series we had so far. So, of course, I just want to know, like, really all the maps have been very, very close for both of those teams now. What do you think gave you the edge?
Definitely the small maps are where we excel. The Monk can't really avoid any CC, so we just get to push on them. And the long maps, they're winning the dampening game, so they're just running away, and we're slowly dying over time. And it's very, very frustrating, but they went down fighting, you know, hats off to them. That was the hardest series we played, and we played a series where we lost. So, you know, give it up for them, guys.
Yeah, please, give it up. That was just amazing. And now, I mean, the casters have been wondering, everyone here has been awestruck. How did you keep those guys alive? Like, literally, there were so many moments. How do you keep your cool there and you calm and just continue going, even though that it looks like it's done?
You know, we just try and keep calm, and it's my job to just keep everyone focused. They're CCing everyone, so a lot of credit goes to them. And a lot of the times when we were low, I actually stole a lot of cooldowns. And one of the things we had to change was, instead of us running away and me conserving those cooldowns, I was just using them more aggressively to keep them in the fight, because we realized that we were losing the long game, so holding on to cooldowns wasn't actually that important. So, yeah.
All right, so you are going to meet the Bleach Bones now in the semifinals. What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like it's going to be just as tight a series as we just saw, or you think you're actually going to have the upper hand there?
The series is going to be pretty similar. It's going to be long games. They do a lot of damage, and they win over time, so we're going to be really aggressive, and that was actually incredible practice. I mean, we couldn't have staged any better practice, so we're pretty confident, and I think the matchup is pretty good for us. We played them before, but they're great players, and we're just going to go out there and do our best.
All right, well, thanks a lot for joining me. Snuts, Veruki, and Sidhu, they got to the semifinals, and we will be right back with the next game, so stay tuned.